state my case. I hold my tongue, I know I'd say something I regret. Don't blame me, just strike the match and walk away. Let me in, I've seen better days. Don't lay down, take it on yourself. You tell me that you want it. Don't lay down, take it on yourself. You tell me that you want it. If you bring the fuel, I'll bring the flames. And set it off, not what you want, not what you need. A chicken time bomb, just sacrifice my
So yeah, guys, what you witnessed there is Herald of Perfection in a very monstrous state. I'm main decking Rory Decrees now to deal with the Solemn Strike problem, as you can tell from this list. I don't like my Herald getting Strike. That's the only time in the game that I don't like Strike. Aside from that, I love Solemn Strike, but having my Herald get Strike and me not being able to respond to it, it just really irritates me. And anybody is gonna comment, oh, why are you gonna play Rory Decree? It just gets killed by MST. Hell, negate. Like, it's that fucking simple. And you saw that with the first game that I showcased, you know how I had Denko Seka. I sided Denko Seka in against Paleo. That couldn't do shit. I also sided in Zaphions in order to force them to play all of their trap cards in one shot. And if they have the Solemn Strike, they're going to play the Solemn Strike on this. Because they do not want this going off on them. And because if this card goes off and they don't have the Strike to hit it, they're going to be forced to play each and every single trap card they have face down in response to her effect. And that really is a problem for them. And if you get both her and Denko Seka, she just serves as another discard outlet. And so if they try to just draw a whole bunch of cards off of, like, I don't know, freaking Pot of Desires or Card Demise or, well, probably Card Demise wouldn't work, but if they try to use the Spellbook ending to draw into their frogs, or they use the frogs themselves to try to put Totally Awesome on the board to have some board control, even though they probably wouldn't even though they're not going to be able to do that anyway because of the Herald being a huge problem for them. I just figured I'd do this video to show you guys that I'm still around and I'm still making videos, just not as consistently as before, due to the overwhelming cancer in the community getting too mentally outrageous for me. And now I see people putting Masked Heroes at number 1 on their budget lists. And seeing that just makes me want to quit doing Yugi-tubing. I would never quit. I'm not going to quit Yugi for a long time. I've decided I'm going to stick it out in the game. But just seeing people that believe that Masked Heroes even have a potential shot to come close to the top 10 budget list, it just makes me not want to do Yugi-tubing anymore. Because knowing the type of people that I have to deal with in this community, knowing all these big names that you're going to have to come across and now I'm going to have to cross paths with at one point or another in this fucking game, It just really irritates me, and it irks me to have people believe that Mask Heroes comes anywhere near the number one spot. And if by definition there really is no number one deck, the only number one deck that you can honestly throw out there is Herald of Perfection and Barrier Statue in certain formats, and that's really it. Like, I put Statellars at number 2. And arguably, you could argue that Statella should have been number 1 because that deck is Counter Fairy 2.0. But aside from Herald, there really is no number 1 deck out there in the game. And you can argue with me all day that Herald loses to Strike, and I'm going to argue with you all day that I got Rory Decrees. And you're going to be stupid enough to say, oh, MST pop. Herald, negate. Like, there really is nothing you're going to be able to do about Herald plus Rory Decree. And Rory Decree really is just a real pain in the ass for any Paleozoic player. Because they're not going to be able to fucking get their trap effects on field to go off. They may still get their little trap monsters from Graveyard back out on the board. But it doesn't matter. And, I mean, you could play Necro Valleys in the side just for that matchup too, but I prefer Denko Sekka. She's way better at beating the Paleo matchup than Necro Valley ever would be. And while it's true that this deck would be more consistent at opening Necro Valley due to the terraforming being the thing. Whoops, wrong ban list. My bad. But Denko Sekka just does the job way better. And she's a light too, so she has synergy with Honest. So if they try to summon something strong enough to kill you, just Honest that motherfucker and they're done. Like, Herald is just... His side deck is basically very simple. The only cards you have to side for are cards that are played today that out Herald. That's the only thing you really have to main or side for. Depending on how you prefer to do it. Because Herald just negates everything. Like you saw in those games. All 3 of those opponents rage quitted on me. Well, both of them, technically, because one of them I was going against in the match, and then he just got... And then you saw how he opened Max C on me, and Herald still won the game. Because Herald is not once per turn. This card right here is stupid. People have to understand this logic. I do not know how Konami made a monster like this, or let's put it aside from him, because him without the Cyber Angel support is not as broken, but it's still very annoying to go against. But him with the new Cyber Angel shit is like ridiculous on the consistency that you get in the deck. And then you have the Star Seraphs in here as well, that just add way more consistency to the deck overall. I mean, this deck is stupid. And truth be told, aside from the stick chair, everything else in this deck is affordable for you to pick up. Power Desires reprinted, $3 at max. Like, pre-prep and preps go for like, what, $1 or $2 each or something like that? Like, the only thing that may cost you a lot of money is lightning. Like, that's really it. One whole lightning. And what? The one Gamasio. Like, the one Gamasio and the one lightning are the only things that will even have a relevant price range of more than fucking $10 in this entire deck. And you arguably don't even have to play Kaijus in the side. You can literally just take out the Kaijus and you could just put Necro Valleys and or you can put some you could put 3 Necro Valleys and a Maxi in the side deck to replace them instead. Like, you can do lots of things to make yourself more adjusticated. Or you could play more back row hate if you want. It's up to you. Or you could play strikes on the side. It's up to you. If you can't afford the Kaiju engine, you could take it out for something that suits your budget. You don't even have to play lightning. The only thing that matters in the extra deck is the cards that you're going into all the time with the stick chair combo. Honestly, a lot of the things I'm playing in the extra are just fill-ins. It's just to make it 15 cards so it doesn't look weird. You can actually play Winter Cherries if you got them dirt cheap in the side, and you could just put fucking Double Helix and a whole bunch of different card names into your extra, and you'll just be able to fucking have Winter Cherries targets for days if you want to play your deck like that. with that type of hand trap to prevent your opponent to butcher your opponent's plays even more, even though this guy was already butchering your opponent's plays. And there's not a man on earth that can play Herald to perfection better than Team King of Games, 3 stacks, as he's known amongst the community. There's not a man alive that has built better Herald decks than him. This is literally the most basic version of Herald that you can possibly find. Like, this is me basically taking basic Herald and re-innovating it to something that I like. I personally like Royal Decree in the main because it eliminates the counter trap problem. It squashes that shit even before it becomes a problem. Although, if you want to be sneaky, like 3 stacks is, you could play fucking Trickstar Herald for all we know. I don't know how you want to play your deck. Like, it's all up to you, again. Like, if you play Trickstar Herald, that shit is stupid. You need to check out Team King of Games, aka 3 stacks, if you haven't seen Trickstar Herald to perfection yet. He did a variant with Zodiacs, but you're not really playing Zodiacs in the deck anymore. You're basically playing Trickstars, and you can play Trickstars in there with the Herald and the Drone Lockbird. And, like, you can do Drone Lockbird and empty out your opponent's whole hand even before it becomes a problem. And Herald is honestly insurance policy in that deck to make sure your opponent will never be able to go through. And everybody that goes against Trickstars, they side out the strikes because of how the fucking Trickstar monsters are just ignitions or ignition effects and don't actually activate. Therefore, Strike can't hit them. And Strike arguably isn't even a good card against burn decks anyway. Yeah, at the same time, they gotta deal with the Herald before they can even play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is honestly the most disgusting version of Herald I've ever seen. I'm playing more of a basic build with the barrier statue and shit like that. But you can innovate this deck with literally any fairy deck. If you can find something that's fairy oriented, chances are Herald has the potential to be splashed in there. Just because of how versatile this guy's effect really is. And a lot of people are probably going to watch this video. And I'm saying that Herald is the best budget deck right now. Number one. Number one, non-arguably. And a lot of people are going to watch this video right now, and I can see myself getting just like saying this. Herald is the best budget deck that you can possibly play right now. It's definitely on the top cut with Pendulum Magicians on which one is number one. And people that are saying that Cosmo or Mermail or Hero is on the list, again, stop. Please, just stop. Stop it. You're in mental denial right now. If you're even coming close to putting that on your list. You're in mental fucking denial. And reality is not sinking into your head. You're falling behind. You're becoming one of the 3 stooges that has fallen behind in this planet Earth. You're mentally not keeping up with the game and what you really need in order to be able to stand up to the current meta. Spirals, Herald, Negate. Like, no matter what meta deck exists whatsoever, Herald always has an answer to it. This is the one boss monster, just like Statone Trigger, except more broken than Trigger, that is literally single-handedly immune to power creep. Whatsoever. You'll never see shit like Herald or Statone Trigger get outdated because of how broken they really are. It is mathematically impossible to power creep these cards. Okay? It is mathematically and logically impossible to power creep these cards. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Okay? And I'm probably gonna get... And if I'm not getting dislikes, I'm getting nasty comments telling me, oh, you're slow, you're this, you're that, you don't understand Yu-Gi-Oh!, you don't understand competitive play. And how ironic that just before I was making this video, I was playtesting Cosmo, right? I gotta do a stream of me just doing live test hands and live deck building and shit like that for you guys. And I was playtesting Cosmo without Demise because everyone tells me, oh, run Cosmo without card Demise, it's better. And the only reason I decided to decided to try it out again is because of how Simo put Cosmo on his list. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit's so overrated. Like, Cosmo, it's a good deck, but is it really? better in comparison to shit like Herald, the Tower Knights, and possibly and logically Counter Fairy? Nowhere near, my boy. And you can even argue with me that Chainburn's a good budget deck too, and I'll accept that argument because it's a logical argument. Again, it's a fair argument to be made. It makes sense. Because Chainburn does one thing really well. Catch people off the holy fuck down. It catches people off the holy fucking guard down. And while their guard is the holy fuck down, you're catching them off guard. It just does it so well. You're able to argue with me a shit like Chamber can work. You can argue that Pendulum Magicians are good, but you can't argue with me that Cosmo is super broken or super OP for this meta. Because it's not. Like, it really is just false hype. And people want to overhype these shits. And they're going to pay the price for it. And a lot of people are like really hyping up Dino Rabbit to be something right now. I don't see it. And I'm going to explain why. Ash is still a motherfucking problem. Ash negates that deck's life. It cannot take off without having to answer to Ash. And if they answer the rescue rabbit with Ash, your turn's over. Unless if you can like dump dinosaurs in the graveyard and then make the ulti Tyranno, your turn's over. After saying like 1 or 2 back row. Again, your turn's done. And I've experimented with some dinosaur builds, Dino Rabbit builds that like run Cypher and Gear Gamma in the main. And I've been experimenting with that stuff because dinos really are a tender deck right now. It's like the ball sack, man. That shit's tender. That shit's tender as fuck. Dinosaurs are in this tender state right now. Where you just give them that one good blow, they're going down and they're probably not coming back up. Ash is that one good kick right there. Right down there, and Ash will prevent that deck from coming back up ever. And with miscellaneous swords getting hit to 1 ain't helping the deck either. And I'm honestly not complaining because I didn't like dinosaurs anyway. But I'm just speaking logically for those who did like dinosaurs. It's not looking good for you, dinosaur players. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I tried to stream, but then I ended up going into red. And I wasn't able to continue streaming. So yeah, guys. Comment below and tell me what kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Budget-related topics you would like me to talk about for the near future streams and shit like that. And yeah, just enjoy yourselves. Have a good night. Go to work tomorrow. Work hard. And be successful in life. You keep working on your ideas. It's for Yu-Gi-Oh! And you'll get somewhere someday. And again, check out Fluffle Stuff Incorporated. Check out Team Kina Games. And those two people have quite decent content for the audience that I'm even trying to provide. Team Kina Games has literally almost every deck featured on his channel at one point or another. And Fluffle Stuff Incorporated basically has a really good idea of what rogue decks as a whole have to go through, and he can relate with those that are going through the same mental pain and suffering of having to break down rogue in one fucking way or another. Gage X Scapegoat, another guy I got shout out. That Kina anti-meta. Gage X Scapegoat, or Gage in general. That man is so good with anti-meta. He's the best man I've known for years now. I say for a good 2-3 years, he's been the best anti-meta player in my life. And that's probably not changing anytime soon because of how good he really is with breaking down how anti-meta is supposed to be played. And ironic that he's the only Yu-Gi-Tuber aside from a team key in the game to acknowledge that Herald is an actual legit threat. Now that it's basically back at full power now. All we need is for this thing to go back to 3. And we could play every card in our deck and our main deck at 3 copies again. We just need prep to go back to 3 and I'll be able to play 43 cards without any inconsistencies. And the deck just does what it needs to do so well. And everyone's like, oh, Revan Dreads this, Revan Dreads that, and people are like, and I'm like, what about Herald? You're forgetting about the boy Herald, man. Most powerful boss monster in the history of the game right here. Non-once per turn solemn judgment. Hey, for real. This guy just gets shit done so easily and so quickly. It's literally just take you a blind second. And ritual decks are the most consistent decks in the history of the game. Everyone says pendulums are the most consistent decks in the game. No, it's not. Rituals are the most consistent. You argue with me as you will, or as you may, but ritual decks are the most consistent decks in the game. So yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out some of my older videos. I'm pretty sure there'll be some content that I've uploaded because I've uploaded about 150 videos already. I'm pretty sure there's some older content I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy at one point or another. Artifact Molotok signing out. Peace out.